As if there wasn't enough going on at the Canary Wharf hotel, it appears like one of the younger gentlemen that was staying in this hotel, he decided to have a walk around, and in a local house, he decided to let himself in and have a walk around the house of a blind woman. And this has really annoyed the locals, and of course there was a bit of a crowd started to gather, and this was the explanation provided by the police.
This man in this vehicle has just entered a lady's property without her consent, and these officers have said it's not an offence. They're letting him go. They're letting him go. Officer, how is that not an offence? How is it not an offence entering someone's house?
That poor lady.
Regardless, she didn't want him in the house.
Is alarm fear and discretion?
Lady, bro.
Is alarm fear and discretion offence? Is she not alarmed even in fear?
You're letting him go.
Let him go. He's allowed to do that.
He's
allowed to do that. He does it again. When he does it, he got arrested. He does it again.
Regardless, he's done it once. He don't need to do it again. He doesn't need to do it again.
When I'm walking over to
You know you're going to cause a war on the streets. You know you're causing a war on the streets,
if I
right?
hands in my pocket, I'm not going to dig nothing. I can walk in their house and say, look,
You're causing a war on the streets. How are you letting him go?
What's your name? I'm going to walk in someone's house and not say nothing. And I'll get all their collar numbers.
You have said that it isn't an offence entering a property. Can I have your name, number, please? Yeah, go for it. Do you think it's not an offence entering a property? Regardless, if I entered your house with your wife and kids in there, are you going to be angry and want to get me arrested?
Be angry, but you have to prove intent for it to be burglary. Yeah?
I had done the same thing when I was 16. I got arrested for attempted burglary.
So they would have had to prove your
No, they didn't. No, they didn't. All I done was walked in the house. I got done for attempted burglary, and I was in the middle of an argument. Mate, an absolute disgrace. You're a disgrace to the UK government, to the UK people. You're a disgrace. All of you are a disgrace. Absolute disgrace. Absolute disgrace.
You're going to end up nicking her.
Now, people often point to this two-tier Kia moniker, or the way that the police handle things. They're on a two-tier thing as well, but it's not two-tier policing or two-tier management. It's a straightforward policy of engagement, and what that essentially means is that the authorities en masse have decided that if we have an illegal migrant come to this country and they are from a completely alien culture to ours, and when I say alien, that's not a derogatory term. I'm just saying that if you're going to have a walk around Eritrea this morning, then you're going to notice that life is a lot different. It's certainly going to be different from Canary Wharf, and a little bit of that type of cultural sensitivity, we can call it, is okay. So you could make allowances for the language barrier, for instance. You could make some type of allowances for certain customs that we follow in the West, in some instances, like queuing for a bus, for example, or how we walk around and smile at each other, or whatever it is. There are 1,000 different many things happen all of the time when we're interacting with people when we're outside, and this custom that all countries have, these customs are different, and we can be fair and we can say, outside of the issue of illegal migration, let's put that to one side for 1 second, although it is the main reason for this video, but let's put that to one side for a second. So let's say somebody migrates to here from Eritrea, and they're now in Canary Wharf, and they're walking around looking about going, oh, this is a kind of a totally alien landscape for me to all intents and purposes. Do we allow that person a little bit of leeway, a little bit of acclimatization? Yes, we do allow for that. That's fine. However, I would bet that in Eritrea, this young man would know that you don't just go wandering into people's houses. I mean, they have houses in Eritrea. They may not be the same as those houses in Canary Wharf, but, every man has a castle, as they say, and every woman has a castle. And so people have their own castles everywhere. And I'm willing to bet, and I'm going to go 100% on this, that if this young man here was in Eritrea, for instance, he's going to pretty much know that you don't just go walking into people's houses, because he's going to know that people react extremely badly to that, because that's their place, that's their zone, that's what they own. And we don't allow, whatever country you're from, it doesn't matter where you are on the globe, you don't allow strangers to walk into your house. And this is one of the universal human concepts. We guard our boundaries, our internal boundaries and the boundaries to our premises, because we look after our own, and this is just human nature. And what I thought about this was the police policy to essentially not arrest this person. So I'm not really sure how you would categorise this crime. The police would probably know better than me about what type of crime it is just to walk into somebody's house and start rummaging through their things. But if this is the policy that the police are attempting to use, then what I'm going to cast my mind to is how many other instances and how much are we allowing these differences in culture, and how much are the police overlooking? If we're going to let in hundreds of thousands of people into our country on an annual basis, then I'm afraid we can't kind of look past crime. We can't do that. If we're going to allow these people in, yes, we can allow for some cultural differences, as I said, putting the migration debate to one side for a second. On an individual level, we can allow for some differences in customs, etc. But we can't permit crimes that have happened that go unpunished. And the police letting people off because this is going to further annoy people. And what type of signal does this send to this man here? What type of signal does this send to everyone watching media? Oh, well, you can kind of walk into a house, and as long as you don't steal anything, and you can convince the police that it was all just, hey, I was just walking around, I just tried a door and walked in. This is adding fuel to the fire, adding the tension, adding to the mismanagement. And, more than anything, the chronic mismanagement of all of this, the policy the police are using, the policy the government's using. It seems that at every single turn, they make bad choices. All they had to do with the locals there was saying, oh yeah, we've got hold of the young man that was in the woman's house and we've taken him off to the police station. All people want to see is justice being served. All they want to see is fairness. And people are looking around and they quite literally can't believe what they're seeing. And, those police there, even they can see the stupidity of this decision. They know. They know he should have been arrested. And this is the situation that we're getting ourselves into by this chronic mismanagement of this government and the police. And it just there's no end to this, is there? There's no end. And my concern, my worry within all of this is that if we get another flashpoint, if there is, something of the nature of Southport, and of course it's unfortunately only a matter of time before that happens, whether it be in 1, 2, 3, 4 years, at some point something's going to happen, because there is always a terrorist attack happens, then that is going to light this up. And if this type of atmosphere we've got here is still around, then this is going to be Southport multiplied by 50. I just think people have well had enough, and the authorities behaving and how they are so irresponsible. Yes, people should be observing the law. Yes, we shouldn't be mob-handed and all of this, but what are the people supposed to do? When you leave somebody no other option, what are they supposed to do? You don't corner an animal. You don't shut off every area of escape and expect the animal just to roll over. Because when there is no out, when there is no option, then people take the only option that is open to them. Anyway, thanks very much for your time.